Orpheus. Following their release from the captivity in Babylon, not all Jews returned to Jerusalem however. Some remained in Babylon, while others followed the conquest of the Persians and settled in Egypt and Greece, where they contributed to the rise of Greek philosophy. On the authority of Bardaeans, a Syrian Christian of the late 1st and early 2nd century AD, the Magissians, wherever they were found, observed the laws of their forefathers and the initiatory rites of their mysteries. 10. Among the rumors associated with these mysteries was the practice of human sacrifice. Herodotus maintained the Near Eastern origin of the phallic rites of the Greek Dionysus, attributing its importation to Melampus, who got his knowledge about Dionysus through Cadmus. 11. The legendary founder of the rites of Dionysus was known to have been Orpheus, who inspired the Orphic movement, which was influenced by Zervanism. 12. In the Orphic tradition, it was Cronus, the equivalent of Zervan, who governed chronological time, ether and chaos, and Aneg, from which Phanes was born. 13. The founding literature of the Greek mysteries were the poems of Orpheus and Mucias, written, or at least redacted, by the notorious forger, Onomacritus. Orpheus was a legendary figure, the son of a muse and the king of Thrace. He joined the expedition of the Argonauts, saving them from the music of the sirens by playing his own, which was so powerful that even animals, trees and rocks began to dance. When, upon his return, his wife Eurydice was killed by a snakebite, Orpheus went down into Hades, the underworld, to bring her back. With his singing and lyre playing, he charmed Charon, the ferryman of the river Styx, and the triple-headed dog Cerberus, who guarded the palace of Pluto. His music and grief so moved Pluto and Persephone, the king and the queen of Hades, that they allowed him to take back Eurydice. Among the Greeks, Orpheus was regarded as a foreigner, having come from Thrace, the region of the southeastern Balkans, most of which had become subject to Persia about 516 to 510 BC. Though, Pliny remarked, I would have said that Orpheus was the first to import magic to his native land from abroad, and that superstition evolved from medicine, if the whole of Thrace had not been free of magic. 14. According to Strabo, Orpheus was a magician who at first was a wandering musician and soothsayer and peddler of the rites of initiation. 15. Plato stated, beggar priests and seers come to the doors of the rich and convince them that in their hands, given by the gods, there lies the power to heal with sacrifices and incantations, if a misdeed has been committed by themselves or their ancestors. With pleasurable festivals, and they offer a bundle of books of Mucias and Orpheus, according to which they perform their sacrifices. They persuade not only individuals but whole cities that there is release and purification from sin through sacrifices and playful pastimes. And indeed for both the living and the dead, they call these teletai, which deliver us from evil in the afterlife. Anyone who declines to sacrifice, however, is told that terrible things are waiting for him. 16. Aristobulus, a 3rd century BC Jewish philosopher, claimed that Orpheus was a follower of Moses, and quoted the following from an Orphic poem, I will sing for those for whom it is lawful, but you uninitiate close your doors, charged under the laws of the righteous ones. For the divine has legislated for all alike. But you, son of the light-bearing moon, Mucias, Moses, listen, for I proclaimed the truth. 17. Artapanus, 3rd century BC Jewish philosopher, declared of Moses that, as a grown man he was called Mucias by the Greeks. This Mucias was the teacher of Orpheus. 18. Part of the Orphic ritual is thought to have involved the maimed, or actual dismemberment of an individual, representing the god Dionysus, who was then said to have been reborn. The female worshippers of Bacchus, called Maenads, were supposed to reenact the tearing and eating of Dionysus by the Titans, by whipping themselves into a frenzy, and tearing a live bull to pieces with their bare hands and teeth, for the animal in some sense was an incarnation of the god. 19. Several descriptions of the rites of the Dionysians are available from ancient authors. Clement of Alexandria reports, "The raving Dionysus is worshipped by Bacchantes with orgies, in which they celebrate their sacred frenzy by a feast of raw flesh. Wreathed with snakes, they perform the distribution of portions of their victims, shouting the name of Eva, that Eva through whom error entered into the world, and a consecrated snake is the emblem of the Bacchic orgies." 20. The Dionysiak rites appear to derive from necromancy, the art of summoning the spirit of the underworld, or black magic, to deva worshipping magi. Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher of the 6th century BC, equated the rites of the Bacchantes with those of the magi, and commented, "If it were not for Dionysus that they hold processions and sing hymns to the shameful parts, phalli, it would be a most shameless act, but Hades and Dionysus are the same, in whose honor they go mad and celebrate the Bacchic rites." 21, and of the nightwalkers, magi, Bacchoi, Lenai, and the initiated. All these people he threatens with what happens after death, for the secret rites practiced among humans are celebrated in an unholy manner. 22, in a papyrus from Derveni, near Thessaloniki, belonging to the 4th century BC. We read about incantations of the Magoi that are able to placate daimons who could bring disorder. Therefore, the Magoi perform this sacrifice as if they would pay an amend, and initiates of Dionysus first sacrificed to the Eumenides, like the Magoi in magic and the ancient world. Fritz Graf, professor of classics at Princeton University, remarks, "Not only does the unknown author connect the rites of the Magi with those of the mystery cults, a topic which becomes fundamental with the Greco-Egyptian magical papyri, but also he introduces the Magoi as invokers of infernal powers, daimons whom he understands as the souls of the dead. The disorder that they bring manifests itself in illness and madness, which are healed by rituals of exorcism." 23. The practice of human sacrifice in the rites of Dionysus is alluded to in Euripides' play The Bacchae. It premiered posthumously at the Theatre of Dionysus in 405 BC and won first prize in the City Dionysia Festival competition. The tragedy is based on the Greek myth of King Pentheus of Thebes and his mother Agave, and their punishment by Pentheus's cousin, the god Dionysus. Dionysus appears at the beginning of the play and proclaims that he has arrived in Thebes to avenge the slander, which has been repeated by his aunts, that he is not the son of Zeus. In response, he intends to introduce Dionysian rites into the city, to demonstrate to Pentheus and to Thebes that he was indeed born a god. In one scene, guards sent to control the Maenads witness them pulling a live bull to pieces with their hands. Later, after Pentheus has banned the worship of Dionysus, the god lures him into a forest to be torn limb from limb by Maenads, including his own mother Agave. At the end of the play, Agave bears Pentheus's head on a pike to her father Cadmus.